still at Northern Michigan University. Temperatures around here have not budged much. The cloud cover still has not given way. We're sitting in the low to mid 30s out there. Fremont 33. Big Rapids 33, Grand Rapids 34 compared to the 36 that we had during the earlier shows. So, yeah, these temperatures have held pretty steady. The high today, 48 degrees. That occurred shortly after midnight in Grand Rapids. We hit 55 in Lansing in just after midnight, and in Kalamazoo after a midnight high of 53. Temperatures dropped to 36 late in the day. The radar picture showing not much going on. Some of that clearing trying to make its way into the area right now. Seems like the sky breaks up and then the clouds have just filled right back in again. But eventually, as high pressure nudges closer, I think we'll see more and more breaks for tonight. So skies at 2 in the morning, partly cloudy, but already becoming mostly cloudy again at 7 o'clock in the morning as our next weather system approaches. Lows tonight in the upper 20s to around 30, and we'll be approaching 40 degrees by noon tomorrow. Nice shot here of the sunset last night. Thanks to Kelly for that one, and this taken in Grand Haven thanks to Michael Breen. As we head through the weekend, we do have another warm-up in store with 50s expected on Sunday, but we're also looking at some rain coming our way. I'll let you know how much rain is in store coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Ty, thanks. The U.S. spending bill signed by President Donald Trump has pushed the legal age to buy cigarettes from 18 to 21.
Yep, our Aaron Parsesian joins us live in the newsroom with more on this change. Aaron?
Yeah, Doug and Atra, you now need to be 21 and up to buy any tobacco or vape products, a change public health officials are applauding.
A new law now in place prohibiting the sale of tobacco and e-cigarettes to anyone under the age of 21.
We put a 21 limit on because everyone seems to agree on that, right?
President Trump initially favored banning all flavored e-cigarettes, but worried a ban could drive companies out of business and open up a black market.
If you don't give it to them, it's going to come here illegally. They're going to be selling stuff on a street corner that could be horrible.
According to a University of Michigan study, about 23% of high school students vape. Advocates say raising the age to 21 will help save lives and money.
We just need stronger regulation and just more information about what are in all of these products so that people can make informed choices.
Opponents say it's a blow to personal freedom. 18-year-olds can still buy rifles and join the military, but can no longer buy tobacco.
There's multiple other things you could do at that age, so I mean, like, why not smoke? Is your body, is your choice.
If they're going to keep doing this, then they need to raise the age for going to war, too.
And prior to the nationwide change, 19 states already raised the minimum age to buy tobacco products. Live in the newsroom, Aaron Parsesian, Fox 17 News.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Along those same lines, it appears the Michigan Supreme Court won't speed up an appeal from Governor Gretchen Whitmer in a dispute over the sale of flavored vaping products here in the state. The court says any appeal should take the traditional course through the appeal system. In October, a court of claims judge blocked Whitmer's ban, saying that health officials can't justify shortcuts to adopt the new regulations. The judge also expressed concern about the impact on adults who might be vaping to avoid regular cigarettes. Whitmer says the ban was an effort to keep flavored e-cigs out of the hands of teens.
Twice convicted killer Jeffrey Willis isn't getting out of prison anytime soon. The Michigan Appeals Court ruled he will not get a new trial in the death of Jessica Herringa. Willis and his attorney argued evidence found at his home should have been excluded from the trial. But despite that claim, the appeals court says it doesn't outweigh the other strong evidence proving Willis was responsible for Herringa's death. Willis was sentenced to life in prison in June of last year. He'd already been given a life sentence for the 2014 murder of Rebecca Bletch.
A man in northern Michigan has been charged in the death of his own 8-week-old son. Wexford County prosecutors charged 24-year-old Tyler Russell with involuntary manslaughter and first-degree child abuse. State police found his son Xavier unresponsive at a home in Messick in late September. A medical examiner ruled that a homicide caused by brain and spinal injuries.
7 priests have been charged by Michigan Attorney General's office as part of their clergy abuse investigation. And according to AG Dana Nessel, there's a lot more to come. Her office shared an update today on their investigation. To date, they've received more than 640 tips against priests, 130 of whom are being investigated or reviewed for potential charges. The clergy abuse team has identified 552 victims, and there's 270 priests labeled as abusers. Nessel says millions of documents related to the probe have been seized, and they believe there are thousands of survivors out there.
Holiday times are a real tough time to get donations, so I kind of call them our holiday heroes. So everybody donating today, you know, it's a big deal. We have to collect 560 pints of blood at least per day just to supply the state of Michigan.
Yeah, so it is a big deal. Fox 17 and Versity Blood Center of Michigan teamed up for our holiday blood drive today to help combat a nationwide shortage. Everybody who participated got a general admission ticket to Meyer Gardens and a buy one, get one coupon for select Grand Rapids Griffins home games. A nice incentive for an even better cause. Thanks for everyone who came out today. And a Michigan State trooper from the Wayland Post was named Trooper of the Year. Trooper Evan Alcamo was given the Gerstacker Trooper of the Year award for his outstanding service, his community involvement, and his teamwork. And Alcamo says it's all part of the job, but he thinks a big reason why he won the award is because he was in the right place at the right time when he saved someone's life.
I was in the right place at the right time. I responded to a call that someone was not breathing and that their family member was starting CPR, and I just happened to be a couple miles away, so I got there first, and we helped move this. It was a lady about 50 years old, and we moved her off the bed and started CPR right away. And
well done. Alchemist says he's been overwhelmed with congratulations, but says he wants to give credit where credit's due to the people who influenced him and made him the person he is today. And they're always so humble about this stuff, so but always deserving as well. Yeah. Well, one local 8-year-old girl had a pretty big accomplishment.
The youngest person in Michigan to shoot an elk.
How she managed to shoot down an elk 5 times her size.
And a horrible tragedy in Kazakhstan this morning. Reactions from witnesses as a plane went down, carrying nearly 100 people just seconds after takeoff.
And a new law being enforced in Battle Creek. No more handheld cell phone use, but there is an exception to the rule. We'll let you know what that is coming up.
You're watching Fox 17 News.
Except me. Oh.
You're watching Fox 17 News at 10 with Doug Reardon, Atra Elnashar, Erica Streva, and Jason Hutton.
Well, welcome back. A little girl from Ionia County is now credited with being the youngest person on record to kill an elk in Michigan.
Hunting runs in her blood, and she's actually given people much older than her a run for their money.
So how long have you been hunting for?
3 years.
At only 8 years old, a good chunk of Braeleigh Miller's life has been spent with a gun in her hand.
This one is from this year. It's my biggest one that I've shot.
How many points is it?
8.
Her dad Gunnar says since she could walk, she's been shooting BB guns. When she was only 5, she shot a turkey on her first try. With her usual entourage,
Usually my dad and my grandpa and some of my uncles.
Braeleigh is typically the only girl on hunting trips, and on December 14th, she took down an elk 5 times her size, showing up her relatives who have been hunting for decades.
It's cool for me because I've never set a record before, and my dad hasn't set a record before, and my grandpa hasn't set a record before. So I'm like to them, haha.
Watching his little girl take down that nearly 400-pound elk brought Gunnar enormous pride.
He was bawling after I shot.
I think we both were. It wasn't just me.
Passing on the tradition of hunting is important to Gunnar as fewer and fewer kids are doing it.
Youth hunting in Michigan is a dying sport, and that's why Michigan actually opened the Mentored Youth Program after studies that have proven in Michigan that the younger a kid is when they actually get into hunting, the more likely they are to continue it throughout their life.
And Braeleigh says when she grows up, she wants to take her own kids hunting, too.
Well, they're going to have a good teacher. We know that much. All right. Well, congrats to her. When we come back, the family of a teen who died in 2017 has won a $12 million lawsuit now against Michigan State Police. I'm sorry. We're going to tell you that right now. Troopers tased him and caused him to crash the ATV he was driving. The agreement was filed today in federal court months after a former trooper, Mark Bessner, was sentenced to at least 5 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter. Bessner and a partner were patrolling a Detroit neighborhood in 2017 when Damon Grimes drove his ATV near their car. Bessner said he fired his taser because he thought Grimes had a gun. It was later determined the team did not have a weapon.
The minimum wage will increase in 26 states and Washington, D.C. in 2020. 20 of the states will enact the increase on January 1st. Seattle, though, will still have the highest minimum wage at $16. Minimum wage will increase by 20% here in Michigan, bringing it to $9.65. Other states seeing increases include New York, Florida, California, Ohio, and a whole lot more. And other states like Georgia and Wyoming, though, will not see an increase. You can find the link for more details on these wages on our website.
Well, tragedy struck in Kazakhstan this morning when a plane carrying almost 100 people crashed.
Now, the one piece of information, though, investigators still need to figure out why it crashed. Coming up.
Well, most of us will have lows in the upper 20s tonight, but that spring-like warmth will make a comeback to the area. I'll show you when we expect those highs well into the 50s again after coming up.
At least 12 people are dead after a jetliner with 98 people on board crashed barely 20 seconds after takeoff in Kazakhstan. Officials say that the pilot was among those killed and over 50 others had to be hospitalized. The plane took off from the Almaty airport heading to the Kazakh capital but crashed through a concrete wall seconds after it took off. One passenger says the plane began shaking violently. Officials say information like this will help determine what exactly caused this crash.
Little snippets of information put together like that will start to give the investigators a decent picture of what was actually going on.
And that model of aircraft will be grounded temporarily as a precaution, and authorities have suspended all flights at Beck Air flights. Well, as the world gets ready to say goodbye to 2019, lawmakers in the White House are keenly focused on what will happen in the first few weeks of 2020.
Yeah, they're waiting to see when or even if House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will send the 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump to the Senate. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
The holiday stalemate continues between President Trump, his Republican allies, and Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi as she holds on to the articles of impeachment.
She's going to hold up those articles as long as she deems it necessary or beneficial to Democrats and it hurts Trump.
We know at least one big political issue will follow the White House into the new decade: impeachment. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is holding the articles of impeachment from the Senate until they can negotiate a fair trial with the Republican Senate leader. And although little would have happened this week with lawmakers home for the holidays, that hasn't stopped the president from repeatedly airing his frustrations with Pelosi on Twitter. Quote, "So interesting to see Nancy Pelosi demanding fairness from Senate Majority Leader McConnell when she presided over the most unfair hearing in the history of the United States Congress." Pelosi has accused the president on Twitter of a cover-up and abusing his power. The speaker's fellow Democrats are backing her move of waiting out Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who has openly said he'll work with the White House in a Senate trial.
What Pelosi wants to see is a fair trial in the Senate. My guess is Mitch McConnell does not want to see a fair trial. Pelosi is right in simply not sending over the articles of impeachment.
Neither the president nor lawmakers are due back here in D.C. until the first full week of January, which means 2020 will likely begin as 2019 is ending, with angry tweets from both sides of the aisle. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
And coming up, keep your eyes on the road and off your phone.
Yeah, how much money you'll have to pay if you get caught with a cell phone in your hand driving in Battle Creek.
Well, speaking of driving, good travel weather will be with us right through tomorrow, but I'll show you when you'll need those umbrellas and eventually when you might be out shoveling some snow after this.